Welcome to Espresso Yourself, the podcast where mom life, running life, and teaching life collide.
We're three women juggling lesson plans, long runs, and real life chaos, sharing honest conversations about motherhood, miles, and making a difference in and out of the classroom.
Whether you're listening on a run, in the carpool line, or hiding out with your coffee, you're in the right place.
So lace up.
Tune in.
And let's do life together.
Welcome back to Espresso Yourself. This week, we are anxious to catch up on all of the things that have happened, and Katie ran another half this morning. So curious to know how that went. And Becky, I think we talked about your shirts and getting those done and field trip. So all the things and more weather changes and updates. So let's start with either Becky or Katie want to jump in and kind of share your week.
Yeah, Katie, I want to hear about the I'm going to run this half just for fun situation.
And then I saw
I'm
you
gonna
had
do
like
it
your
for
best
fun.
time.
Yeah.
It was one
Yeah.
of my best times. So I honestly went into this like, okay, we're just in for the vibes and the good time. That's what people ask me. You have any time goal? I'm like, no, I'll hang around 2 hours, maybe like right under 2. And my friend who I've been running with since like last fall, this is her first half in like 2 years. And so she was running it and I was like, okay, I was like, well, let's see, what we're going to do. And we ended up seeing the Pacers and I was like, let's stick with like, I said, let's just stick around like 155. And then a friend of mine was doing 150. And I was like, let's see how long we can like hang with them. Just like, sure, why not? And the weather was gorgeous, like 47 degrees. We were cold before we took off, but sure enough, as we got going and moving, like we warmed up, like we matched. So we coordinated and we like both ordered, honestly, I think like shirt or top and bottoms, like were exact brand, like matching. So funny enough, like we like to be frugal with our like spending on running clothes because we've run so much. So we all wear the same brand called CRZ and we literally our tops and our bottoms match. And so we wore like blue tops and black bottoms. And so we went out and we just started running and we started around an 8:30 pace and we held it 8:30 for like the first half. And then we kind of started pulling back a little bit and we started going like 8:45, 8:50 because there were certain points where you would turn and it was 2 loops, like the same loop twice. And there was one point where the headwind was just like, and all you could do was just like put your head down and just go. And I just told my friend, I was like, put your head down and just run into it. I said, this is going to suck. Like, and you could see that our pace kind of like pulled back a little bit, especially when we hit those points with headwind. And it was about a mile and a half of headwind. But still, when you're running like a half, you're like, it felt like forever. But we just kept going. And at one point, she kind of got like at the very end, she got a little bit ahead of me, but we both finished around like 153. And I have not done that in probably like 2 or 3 years, probably 2 years. And so I surprised myself. Like typically, most of my halves are around like 2 or right under 2, around like 157. 153, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I felt good. I mean, like I'm going to be sore tomorrow. I know. I know my hamstrings are going to be tired but it felt good. And then I got her to a PR. She PR'd by 19 minutes. And so we were able to get
That's
her like
amazing.
huge PR. And I was just like really excited for her. Like she hasn't had one in like 2 years. So it was just really cool that we were able to get her to that. And it was just fun. And she's like, thank you so much. And I was like, no, thank you. Like you helped me keep going too. Cause I easily could have with that headwind pulled back, slowed down. But I was like, no, I kept going. So, but no, and then a funny story. So we were able to get some bibs through the running store. And so, but at the time when they handed the bibs, they were only half marathon bibs. Well, I ran the half, like, cause I'm half trained, but the rest of the people at the running store are not trained for halves at the moment. They were like, oh, we wanted to run the 10K or the 5K. So they handed them half bibs and they only ran the 5K. My husband was one of them. And so he had a half bib, and then when he crossed the finish line, they're like, "We don't have enough 5K medals, so we're gonna give you a half one." So his medal says 13.1. And he's like, as he's waiting for me at the last corner to like turn into the finish line, he's like, "Come on, I already finished my half." And I was like, "No, sir, you finished a 5K and they gave you a 13.1 medal," which I'll show you on the medal. It's pretty cool. So it's a little pear and then it's a little
That's cute.
13.1 that spins.
That's so
They did.
That
cute.
is.
They did really cute on the medal. But yeah, like whatever distance you ran was your little thing here. And he ended up with a 13.1. And I said, "That's not like 13.1 medal you'll ever get."
Mhm.
Because he doesn't run halves.
That's a
Most will
pretty
run.
nice medal for a 5K, though.
Yeah, so they got that, but it just says the
Yeah.
5K. So
Yeah.
but I was like, "No, sir." And he was like, "I already finished mine." I was like, "Whatever." So
Oh my gosh. I I was gonna text this, but I figured I would wait. The other night, I had a dream that I was gonna go to like some teacher conference in Houston for a week, and the first thought in my mind was, "I'm gonna get to run with Katie." Then I woke up. I thought,
and it
"Well, that's
wasn't.
a bummer." Because that was
Yes.
like my first thought in the dream. I'm gonna get to run with Katie. But one day.
Yes.
Exactly. We will
Yeah.
find something central
Yeah. Yeah. So
or
we
a
had
destination somewhere else for all of us.
yes. Yeah.
Fun.
Yes, I
Something
would like
fun.
that. We had our 3rd field trip out of 4, maybe you could consider 5 for the year, which is crazy. I've never been
That
on so
is
many field
crazy.
trips in 1 year. Yeah. But this one we got a grant for, so we didn't it didn't have to get approved by the district, just that we could go. But we went to a place called Jungle Gardens, which I was like, okay, it's not going to be great. Like, we're just going to walk the kids around and they're going to see some animals. But this place was really cool. It was exactly as I described, except um, we fed flamingos. Like, y- yes, yeah, it was really cool. Um, and the we because it was a grant, we couldn't take school buses, so we took charter buses. So that was a plus in itself. The charter buses don't echo, so even if the kids are making noise, it doesn't like ring through your ears. And it's a lot more comfortable. However, there's no seatbelts, so these kids were just like standing up and turning around. And so a lot of the bus ride, I was like, "You need to sit down. If I can see your face, then you're not sitting the right way and you need to be safe," whatever. But we got there and I had 2 parent volunteers and I handpicked them because I wanted to be able to trust these parents on the trip. And they were amazing. I split my kids into 3 groups. So I took one group and then the parent volunteers took the other 2 groups. So I only had 7 kids in my group and we walked around. One of the parents bought the food, just like handed me a bag and was like, "Here you go. Now you can go feed the flamingos." We just like walked around with, there was like a place where the kids could go pet goats and other animals, and it was so fun. Field trips are so tiring, but I felt so energized at the end of this day because I only had to keep track of 7 kids. And we just like walked around and had fun, and it was less taxing than a school day. We were only there for maybe 2.5 hours, and we ate lunch there. And then by the time we got back, I was like, "Well, I guess I'm going to put on an episode of like Magic School Bus, and then we'll just wait until the end of the day." And they kept asking, "Well, what about recess? We didn't have recess." I was like, "You had recess all day.
Your kids
We
are
were
always
outside."
hung up on recess.
Yes, and they were like, "But what about snack?" And I was like, "Okay, well, we'll eat snack when we get back." "Well, what about lunch?" I was like, "We literally just ate lunch before we got on the bus." "What do you mean, what about
Well,
lunch?"
they're so routine. These kids are so
They are.
routine. They
Yeah.
thrive on that.
Oh my gosh,
But
they
so
so
how
do.
far of a drive was it for you guys to have I mean, to take charter buses? The cost of a charter bus I'm
Well, it was
assuming for
part of
you
the
guys.
grant that we got. Yeah, it was part
Okay.
of the grant that
So
we
the
got.
grant paid for
So
the
that's
buses.
yeah, and the
Gotcha.
entry tickets and all that. So that it's the only time we're gonna take a charter bus. Otherwise, we don't. Yeah, because 'cause they're super expensive.
Yeah,
Um,
because that's what we have to
but
we're in the middle of fundraising so that our kids can take charter buses because 'cause we're going down to Indianapolis, so that's a 2-hour drive, and, like, our
yeah.
field trip, we won't get back till, like, 6 o'clock at night, so we have to have charter buses, but it's,
Mhm.
like, 4,000 for the 2 buses, so we have
Mhm.
to fundraise, that's what we've been working on.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
we had 3 buses. It was a lot. Yeah.
Was it just kindergarten?
Yep. But there were 135 kindergartners plus 10 adults of teachers that went. And then the parents, they had to drive separately and then they had to pay their own admission fee to get into the place. But all of them were like, yeah, of course, whatever, that's fine. And so they were all so great. It just was such a great trip. And most of the classes have class shirts. Now, at the beginning of the year, 3 classes filled out this paperwork and they sent money in to get class shirts from this person who makes them. She's somewhere in Utah. And last year, my partner teacher, she did all of that. That like I don't get anxiety, but like that made me feel anxious to send it in and trust that someone across the country is going to make these shirts and send them back and whatever. So I was so overwhelmed at the beginning of the year anyhow that I just delayed it, delayed it, delayed it. But then I was like, we're going on this field trip and other schools are going to be there. I want my kids in these class shirts. So I was like, well, I got to figure out a way to do this. So they have all these like DTF transfer sites out there. I mean, they're probably going to pop up on your phone because I'm talking about it. So I took these kids' pictures that they drew. They drew like self portraits. And I scanned them into the copier and then I put it all into Canva. And then I made the image for the shirt on Canva, saved it, and then sent it off to like this. I think I did like ninja transfers. And then they sent me all of the transfers that I needed. And then I just pressed them onto shirts. Our field trip was on Friday. I pressed these shirts on Wednesday. But I know this is I do not have a type A personality. I don't. I have a type C personality. Okay. So I have like type A tendencies. I like to see clean spaces and everything put where it needs to be. However, my type B personality comes around because I don't get these things done quickly. But if I have a certain time limit, like I set my timer for 25 minutes before we hopped on this podcast, and now my kitchen is sparkling because I had that timer on, I got it done and I was very efficient. But if I have all of this time, it's not getting done, which is exactly what happened here. So I got it done on Wednesday during my specials time. Then I was like, okay, well, I have a couple more shirts to do, but I forgot to transfer it home. So Friday morning, I I bring in this transfer and I'm pressing it. Literally, the parents are coming into the room and they're like, oh my gosh, you made all these shirts. As I'm like taking the shirt off of the heat press, I'm like, okay, kid, wait 30 seconds and you can put this shirt on. But,
Yeah.
but it worked out really well because I just got a new student like a couple weeks ago. And had I ordered these shirts when I was supposed to in quotes, um, he wouldn't have had one. But since I made them, and I'm going to do this again next year, since I made them, he got a shirt. So I think I'm just going to do it again, but better and earlier next year because we always have all these field trips. We're going to a play and we're going to go to this place and that place and this place. And we always have so many field trips. And if I can see all of my kids in yellow t shirts, which I hate that color, but love seeing them right away, then I'm just going to do it. So I will get it done in September next year. Hold me accountable. Because I don't need to be so close to the wire. next time. But it all worked out and they all looked really cute and I could spot them right away. So, type C personality for the win, which my
I
friends
love
don't
that.
understand because they're all type A personalities. And it's just, I don't know. They were like, did you know that Becky was finishing pressing her shirts the morning of the field trip? And I was like, well, I wasn't going to share that, but okay, here we are. Now it's out in the open.
I feel like I would be the same way. It would give me anxiety, like leading up to it. I'd be stressed about it, but I would be putting it off at the same time. And I would like do that to myself.
That's
I tend to do
exactly
that.
how I felt. Yeah.
Like a task
Yeah.
that seems daunting gives me anxiety. And the more anxiety I have, the more I push it off. And it just builds
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I stayed up late on Tuesday night trying to like do something for this because it wasn't exactly how I wanted it. And then all Wednesday, I was in such a funk because I was so tired that I could hardly function. So
yeah,
I made sure not to let that happen anymore because I cannot function on little sleep. I just can't.
for sure. Well,
So,
that was
yeah.
me on Thursday night. We didn't leave school right away. Well, because Wednesday night we celebrated Oliver's birthday at my mom's. We celebrated him and my niece together because their birthdays are 4 days apart. Birthday's actually today. And so we just do a joint birthday for them. Well, so we got home late Wednesday and Oliver got like 3 new Switch games and he didn't get to play them. So I was like, you can bring him to school with you tomorrow and play before school since you didn't get to play him on your birthday. Well, then we ended up staying for a while out on Thursday and talking with my team instead of leaving right away. And I wanted to go to the cryo to go into the chamber and like because I didn't get to go all weekend. I knew I wasn't going to get to go over the weekend, and they were promoting this new machine thing, so they were so packed. Even though like I had a scheduled time, they were taking forever, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And then it dawned on me, I'm like, shoot, we got to go get cupcakes for Saturday. I totally like. And then we go to the store. I'm like, hey, we need to get the plates, and then we need to probably should get chips and juice. And my husband's texting me, where are you guys? I'm like, well, we ended up having to go to the store because I forgot we needed all this stuff. He's like, well, I'm not cleaning the house by myself. I'm like, well, I didn't expect you to. But we didn't get home till like 7:30. And then I still had to get the kids fed. We still had to like clean our house because Oliver was having his sleepover. And my husband is like very like the house has to be spotless, even though it's a kid, like the kid's not going to care. But so we were up late then Thursday night and then sitting there trying to like function the next day. And then he had his friend stay the night Friday, which we did get out. We were out by 3:30. School got out at 3. We were out the door in the car by 3:30. We're home by 4 because I wanted the boys to have as much time together as possible to play. And then he was with us all day until Oliver's party last night started at 5. So we didn't get home till late again last night because his party was from 5 to 7. And the first hour we did it at a rock climbing place here in Fort Wayne. We've never been there before, but he wanted to do it because our friends from Indy, they did a rock climbing place and it was really cool, but the first hour was still open to like their members. And then the second hour was supposed to be just us. And it was kind of packed in there. And the dude, the guy that was like working it, didn't even know we were coming until like right before we came. The guy that owns it called him and told him. He never checked any of our waivers. He never took a head count of how many people I had because when I was on the phone booking it, they told me 20 people. I'm like, okay, I have 21. I'll just pay the extra. And then I looked at my invoice and it said 15. I'm like, well, that's weird because he told me 20 on the phone. I was like, we'll figure it out when we get there. The dude never took a head count. He wasn't like monitoring us or anything, which was kind of nice because it was laid back, but also such a liability. I'm like, what if one of these kids got hurt and they didn't have a waiver because you never checked? Like that just seems like a lawsuit waiting to happen. But it worked out, but the people like, there were still members lingering at, like, 6:15. I'm like, "We were supposed to have this place to ourselves at that time." My husband went to go pick up pizza. He's like, "Well, it said it was 6 miles away, but it took forever to get there. There was a million lights." He didn't get back till 6:30, like, trying to get these kids fed pizza and cupcakes, and we had to leave by 7 to clean up, and Oliver was mad because he didn't get to open his presents when we were there. I'm like, "It's fine. Like, you didn't need to anyways," but he wanted to. But then we did. after that, our friends from Indy, the little girl was really mad. Like she was upset because it's always been a thing. Like when we go down for her birthday party, we go back to their house and hang out. They're the ones that we went to, and then we went out to the restaurant after, and Albert got sick. And the last time they came up to hang out with us, they came back to our house or like when Oliver's had birthdays. But his birthdays have always been earlier in the day, not ending at 7. And she wanted to come back to our house. And we're like, it's late. Like there's another time. And she was mad. So we're like, okay. So we ended up going and getting ice cream after. Like we just had cake and cupcakes, but we went and got ice cream. They just had a small scoop. And really just because I think she wanted to have some time with just her and the boys. Because at the birthday party, it's full of all these kids that she doesn't really know, just like when Oliver like goes to hers. But so we went and had ice cream with them. So we didn't get home again until late, but it was nice because then we could sit and talk with them and she could talk with the kids because at the birthday party, it felt like it's always so busy and they drive 2 hours up, just like when we drive there. So that was nice. But we're like, we'll have to plan another time where it's not a birthday party, where you guys can just hang out. So, but we made
But
it.
maybe make it like on spring break or something.
Yeah. Well, we did the one time we went down to the children's museum over break and took the kids, but I don't know if our breaks always line up. And she isn't, so they were her and her husband, because we all went to college together. They were both in education, both special education. That's how I met them, through those classes. And he still works in the school system, but she left, I think it was 2 years ago. She got out and she actually now works for the Department of Education down in Indianapolis. So she's still in education, but she's not in the school buildings. So she like works with the grants and things like that. But now she works, full time, summer and all that. So it's harder to get together when she doesn't have like the teacher hours anymore. But
So I'm curious when y'all's spring breaks are.
3 weeks.
I've got
in
2.
3 weeks,
2 weeks?
I'm in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Your spring break is early.
early.
We once
I'm
had that
the-
early of a break too.
I'm
That was
March
rough.
9th,
Yeah.
which is going to make the
Dang.
month of April so long. Like it's going to make April so long.
Yeah, ours
There's
is
no
the
days off.
end of March, first week of April,
Oh my gosh.
like that.
So when you go on spring break, I'll be doing that 200-mile relay race.
When I go
'Cause
on it?
it's no, when Allison
Oh,
goes on
Allison.
her
Okay.
spring break. Hmm.
Where's that one at?
So it starts in Gonzales, Texas, which is like towards San Antonio. And we run 200 miles collectively on a team back to Houston.
Yeah,
And so
In a van.
Gonzales is where, in a van, yes.
I love it. Those were
but-
my favorite when I did those 2 races. I absolutely, as torturous as they can be, I absolutely loved it. Like
I can't wait. Like,
yeah.
I'm so excited. I know I'm going to go on so little sleep. Last
Oh my
year,
gosh,
I caught the
yes.
flu afterwards. I'm hoping I don't get sick like that this year.
You know, it is. You're like sleep
but-
deprived. Your body aches from sleeping in a van and trying to run that much. Like you run, you have a little break. You run, you don't like recover as like what you typically would. But
No.
it's like it's just the experience. And for me, it was like the bonding, because I went with all these people who I didn't know except for my friend. Like it was
That was
all
me.
her friends from North Carolina. It was all her, like when she lived down there, it was her running club group that like stuck together. And so they drove up to Iowa and we did it. I didn't know anybody, but it was just like an instant bond. And then we did it again down in North Carolina. We ran another one. So it was like reconnecting with them again. So it was just like making new friends and just, yeah. It's like memories you share and like things that you go through when you're in a van like that. You just get to know somebody really, really well.
and
Like,
really
yeah.
fast. Like,
Yes.
because that was me last year. So I only, just like you, I
Yeah.
only knew one other person, and the rest of the group was from like Fort Worth or
Mhm.
other parts of Houston. And so got to know them real fast and truly like half of them I'll be with again this year. And now I'm bringing some of my own friends and my friends get to meet them. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I'm like, oh, I can't wait for you to meet so and so. Oh, I can't wait for y'all to, because our captain asked, he's like, do you want to keep the vans separate or do you want to mix them? And I said, no, mix them. Like, I
Yep.
want they're going to get along with everybody. So please mix them. I want them to get to know each other. Like, I don't want to say like we're no, we're normal, we're cool, we're easygoing, so
Yeah.
they'll be easy to get along with. But that's in 5 weeks. So
That's fun.
yeah, like I knew I
Yeah.
had this morning and then I have 5 weeks and then I do this all over again.
I know. But I love that you just keep doing things so it keeps you accountable. It like keeps you motivated to where you have to just stick with it, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, because the my
But
friend that I went with, her and I weren't really even that close at the time. She worked at our building with like title and like in our literacy. And it just so happened I was like figured out that she liked to run. I was like, "Hey, you like to run, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Would you want to help with my running club?" And she's like, "Yeah, would you want to run a relay with me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." And so then like she helped with run club, like we kind of got to know each other that way, but not like to a level of like that like really good friendship. And then we did went and did this relay together, came back, like hung out and like we've been best friends ever since. Like we ended up getting our like group of 4 because she worked title with my other best friend who worked with me in first grade. And then we invited another coworker that we hang out with. And the 4 of us have just we call ourselves the card crew because we started off playing cards in the summer together and then that kind of it was just when we could get together, we got together and we didn't necessarily play cards anymore, but we're just that bond just sparked ever since just asking, "Hey, do you like to run?" She's like, "Yeah. You want to run a relay?" I'm like, "Okay." But yeah, it was so much fun. Becky, do you
I have a
have any
friend.
like that you go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I have a friend who's running her first marathon next weekend, and it's on the east side of Florida. Um, and I was like, you need to get the good socks. You need to have um, sunglasses. You need to have
Bathing suits.
bathing well, no, not bathing suit. But she's going to be running next to the water.
Only I have bathing suit.
Okay. Um, and she, oh, geez, we're winning. We're winning today. Um, and just like she's going to be running on bridges towards the end of the race. So I was like, oh gosh. And then she was sick last week and she's like, I lost a week of training. And I was like, absolutely not. You did not lose a week of training at this point. You have been trained. You are just tapering. So if
she's in
anything,
taper. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she
didn't
put all
lose
the hard work
anything.
in. No, but it's her first
She's
marathon. So
fine.
she's like, no, she's already nervous about it. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. But I think my
Don't
next,
mind us,
like,
y'all. This is just like our chaos episode.
I think
Kids,
my next,
dogs.
yeah,
Mama.
my next big race
Mom.
is gonna be,
Mom.
yes.
I'm hungry.
Okay, in just a minute, I will get you a snack.
Okay.
All right. My next big race is not going to be until November because once March hits, it's too warm
It's too
to do
hot.
races. Yeah. And the next, like I could have done a half coming up in a few weeks, but um running through this new huge I don't know what you would call it, like community where the entirety with when it's done is going to have 22,000 residences. So it's huge. When I ran this race a couple of years ago, they were still in major construction. And so there was no trees and so no shade and it was bad. But even walking through and driving through this community, um, because it's where the Braves have their spring training, um, I was like, well, there's still no trees. So running that half just isn't in the cards for me because I don't need to run 13 miles in plain old sun. So I'm gonna do the Space Coast Marathon coming up in November. That's near the Kennedy Space Center.
So I have another Instagram friend. Like
Mhm.
we've seen each other in person once because she came to Houston and ran a race. And she does that one every year. She must not be far from where you're at.
Mhm.
She's big on social media too. I think her handle's like runs on pizza or something.
Ooh, okay.
Um, but she's like really nice, really cool lady. But she places in that race like almost every year. Like
Oh my
she's
gosh.
crazy
Okay.
fast, but she's like super nice and humble and just a great human being. But yeah, you mentioned that and I'm like, "Oh, that like I'm blanking on her name right now. I can tell your Instagram handle,
Yeah.
but I'm blanking on her actual name." I'm like, "Oh, that's the one she runs like every year."
Yeah. Well, they have a half and a full, but I said I wanted to do a full the year I turned 40. So that's in June. And so I'm going to run a full, which means that I have to start training in July. In July, which is unfortunate. But I mean, otherwise, I have to wait until December and find something. And that's too hard during the holidays. So if I'm already
It
trained
is.
for November, then that'll just be that. So that's the next big race. Otherwise, racing just isn't in the cards right now because he started T-ball. And so his games are at 9 o'clock every Saturday. So my long runs are being cut short. I can do 6, maybe 7. I hate saying those numbers anymore, but 6, maybe 7 miles on a Saturday. And then I'm rushing to shower and make it to his game. And then Carson's game is at 12:15 every Saturday. And so we're basically just at the ball fields, which is fine. It's the season, but I can't train for any big races right now because we're in baseball season. And here you don't play baseball in the summer because it's just too hot and it's too rainy. And so games would just get rained out all the time. So I have more time to train in the summer than I do any other time of the year.
Yeah, like down here, we are pretty much done with racing by April. Like the last of our halves down here are by April. And even then, like I don't even like to race in April. I'm like, no, I'm good. I've done a half before in April and it was in Galveston, which part of it runs along the seawall. And you get on that seawall and that sea air is just like blasting you. And
Ugh.
it's just like a wall of wind that does not stop ever. And so I decided a few years ago, I was like, I'm done with Galveston runs. I'm done with half of my race being like directly just pelted with wind and it's salty air wind. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's just not enjoyable. Um, but funny enough, the race I used to run down there, they stopped having it, I think back in like 2020, and it hasn't returned. And so this year they're actually trying to have it again. It's called the Diva Half Marathon.
Ooh, fun.
And what they're known for is it's for the ladies. And at the end, you get like a flute of like a mimosa. And then the person who hands you your medal is a shirtless fireman. And yes, and that's like their MO. And so I did this race
Surprised
for a few
Becky's not
years.
looking it up right now.
She's
It
like,
is
I'll
well.
travel for that one. uh, but it's this year is their first year having it again in like 5 years. So it'll be nice just to kind of have it back. But I contemplated, I'm like, do I go down there? Do I do it? And I don't know. Galveston's just hurt me too much. I'm like, have a little PTSD from that wind. I'm like, oh, I think I'm good. But
Yeah, it's
the
funny
group I
how
run with
races
were
can do
actually
that.
there was another one we were talking about this morning that kind of does that to people. And I said, maybe I'll be ready for that one. Austin. So Austin's known for being really hilly. And
No,
there
thank
is
you. I don't
Austin.
enjoy it. Yeah, no. But also this race is at the end of April. The Divas
Yes.
Galveston. That's
And you're
rough.
putting it on the coast in
Yeah.
Texas. And I'm like, I mean, it's already the end of this week. We're supposed to hit like almost 80. And I'm like, this is the end of February. If we're talking the end of April, it's going to be in the 80s. Like
Yeah.
for sure going to be in the 80s.
It
And in the
looks really
morning, it's probably going to
pretty.
be in the 70s. It's it's okay. One thing about Galveston is the water's not blue, it's brown. Yeah, it's not like Florida water. Y'all have
Oh,
prettier
no.
water than us.
Oh, we definitely have pretty water here, yes.
We have brown water. So you're like, let me smell the salt air and stare at brown water. And yeah, no. So I laugh when people are like, oh, we're going to travel to Galveston. And I'm like, should have just gone to Florida. Like, don't come here. It's the worst. I'm like, don't come here for our beaches. They're atrocious. Like, why would you come here?
We have good beaches down here.
Y'all have great beaches. Our beaches are trash. But no, the Diva Half Marathon, it's coming back, but I don't care to do it. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, and you don't like the bridge anyways,
Mm-mm.
right?
I went.
this one doesn't have a bridge. It's like
Okay.
all along the seawall. It's flat, but it's just, you'll deal with wind. And it's, yeah. I mean, unless you really want your medal from a shirtless fireman. Which some people like love the whole thing and like, I'm gonna go do it. I'm like, okay, go have fun. Which, fun fact, this race was one of the races that I trained one of my students to run her first half ever. And so this was the race.
That is cool.
She asked me it was January of that school year, and she's like, can you train me? And I was like, yeah. So I wrote her out a whole training plan schedule, and her mom's like, she followed it to a T. Like anything you wrote in her calendar, she like followed it to a T. And we ended up we ran parts of it together, but I let her go. I was like, if you want to go faster, go faster. And she ended up finishing like a really good time. Yeah. But that was
Yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the race where I helped train her for.
I love that.
What is your absolute favorite race, Katie?
For views?
I don't know.
Or like
your most memorable one, maybe.
I think Chevron always gives me really memorable ones, which
Yeah.
is like the hometown. Because I think I've just like the encounters I've had with people over the last few years have just like meant more to me than like anything. Like I've run the course how many times now? And like I can tell you everything about the course. But I think it's just like the people you encounter and like the experiences I had. Now, if I went with views, I would go with Cottonwood in Salt Lake City. Going down that mountain. Oh my gosh, that was one of the most gorgeous races I've ever raced. But I think memorable would be Chevron. New York's fun. It's just there's a lot of people. But I think for like community and unity and people working together, you can get that from Chevron. Like I see it every year at Chevron.
Have you still talked to that lady? Have you talked to that lady again?
They just
Cindy,
kind
I
of
think is her
like
name.
Cindy. Yeah, we just kind of kept correspondence through Instagram. But she's still running. Like I see her, continually running. I need to meet up with her. It's just life's been crazy.
Yeah.
So, and she's not far, but we just got to meet up at some point. So,
like every time that I'm like, oh yeah, let's do something on the weekend, especially on a Sunday, I'm like, but how do I get ready for the week?
yeah.
Yeah, but how do I do that? Because I can't do it all.
I know. Like I'm like, why did I not take a half day tomorrow? Because honestly, like my week's not super busy, but like I said, I've got so many days I'm gonna have to take coming up that I'm just like, I need to save them. I need to not use them. So it's fine. Which we already went grocery shopping. So like that part's done. It's just the getting ready for the week and having, like I kind of wanted to be a couch potato and like post-run couch rot. I wanted to do that. And I don't think I'll get the opportunity to do that today. So, which is fine.
Well, I'm excited to come back next week and see what's going on with you all in maybe a normal, regular week. But I don't know that we really ever have those.
No,
but,
we
I'd like to
don't.
think that something might be normal and just calm for the week. But we'll wait and see.
Call this the chaos episode, like ketchup and chaos. Because that's what it was today.
Every week is chaos. Every time I try to figure out a title, I'm like, So, what we talked about, and everything is just ketchup and chaos. That's why at the end of every little
Yes.
blurb, it says same, different weeks. Oh, gotta love it.
No.
No, no. Thanks for sipping and sharing a moment with us today. We can't wait to keep showing up with you each week. Messy, caffeinated, and real.
And if you like what you heard, we'd be so grateful if you'd follow, subscribe, or share this with your teacher bestie, mom group chat, or training partner, or all three. It helps more people find our little corner of chaos and connection.
Make sure to hit follow so you don't miss next week's episode. And don't forget to connect with us on Instagram at Espresso Yourself Podcast. Tell us what resonated, share your own stories, what topics you want us to cover, or just come say hi.
Until next time, keep showing up.
Keep giving yourself grace.
And espresso yourself.
One
One sip at a
At a time.